Donald Trump, please reverse this. I'm a white person.
So why are you complaining is my question. You voted for this. You asked for this stupidity. You complaining that you're about to lose your farm because you voted for a man who told you what he was going to do. But that's your freaking fault. Because you voted for your whiteness instead of voting your heart. Because you didn't want to see that black lady in office. So you voted for that white man. And you knew he was a crook. You knew he was a thief. You knew he was going to do all the dumb shit because you've seen it before.
Why do I have no one to work my farm? I do not understand this, and I know that this was not what Donald Trump meant to happen. I know that he doesn't want us good Trump supporter folks suffering, but we are.
Hold on, so let me get this straight. The white farmers in Louisianans, they're mad because people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. Let me run that back. White farmers are mad. The very farmers that voted Republican, okay, they voted for this, are mad that people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. I'm saying you get what you ask for. Hey, it's FAFO type shit, okay? But hey, don't be fooled. I feel like it's gonna come to a point where they're finna make people get on their farms. Don't count me to it. Because if 2025 was a checklist, hey.
So y'all remember when it was said that we taking all the black jobs? They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw this guy made a video and I saved it to my favorites so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms. Now, you got to be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again, because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president. We had a black vice president. We got black senators. We got black congressmen. We got black CEOs. We got black doctors. We got black nurses. We got black psychiatrists. We got a lot of good black jobs. Now, I don't know what y'all thought we was going to be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So get somebody else to do it. I'll like, share, comment, and repost. Drop in the comments y'all education and y'all good black jobs, because they don't think we got good black jobs out here. So we need to let them see it.
You knew better, but you didn't. See, this land that y'all got for free, that's been passed down through the generations, that we didn't get our 40 acres of the mule. So why are we gonna be mad because you about to lose yours? This is by design. All of those corporations are buying up farmland across the freaking country. This is on purpose. But you've yet to realize that. Kamala had you saved. The money was appropriated. It was there. But you had to vote for Trump. You knew what he was. You knew what kind of guy he is. But you voted your color. And you thought you was going to get that privilege. But now you understand. If you ain't worth 7, 8 figures, he don't give a shit about you. Your sister, your auntie, nobody. Now you look like me to him. Because you ain't got it like that. So, I'm sorry you about to lose your land. But I really don't give a damn. Because you knew better. All of you. But you wanted to vote for your privilege and your color instead of who was deserving and who was better. So blame yourself. Blame your neighbor. Blame the people down the street. It ain't our fault. It's on you.
So I was on YouTube and I came across this video claiming that white farmers are outraged that black people do not want to work on their farms. And I thought it was fake because I was like, this has to be like clickbait or whatever. So I searched and I came across Facebook, and y'all, the comments were wild. I still wasn't sure if it was real. So I tried to go to the staffing agency's website, and y'all, apparently so many people went to their website that the website crashed. So I figured, okay, maybe this is actually real. So they're basically offering $11 an hour to pick blueberries, 9 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, from May to July in Louisiana heat. Now, I never heard of Laranger, so I decided to look it up real quick. So here's some info. And just so you know, my source is this website called places.us.com. So anyway, livability is a C-. Population is less than 6,000. Demographics is almost 91% white, followed by Black, then Hispanic, then Indian, then Asian, and pretty much 0 Hawaiian. I saw that they voted Republican in 2020, but it probably doesn't take a genius to guess how they voted in 2024. So that's just to give you a little info about the town. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So $11 an hour is what they're offering. Full-time, 7 days a week, 9 to 10 hours a day. Now, according to salary.com, Louisiana's minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. So this is a bump. But let's be real. Now, for some people, they might say, oh, it's a job. Go work it. It's a job. But it's not a job, you know. It's more like a sentence. And then when you look at who they expect to take these jobs, you don't have to guess. It's a page straight out of history. Black folks, migrant workers, you know, the ones who are currently facing deportation right now. Vulnerable communities getting used for back-breaking labor for pennies. But people are saying this is what they voted for. So what do you think? Is it FAO season or what?
Hey, you know, one more thing about that farm thing. Those farmers complaining about how the Trump's trade war is hurting farms. And not just China, even though China no longer buys U.S. beef, that's going to Brazil. They no longer buy U.S. soybeans. They don't buy a bunch of other agricultural products from us because they can source them elsewhere. And these farmers are all over these apps whining and crying that they didn't think it would hurt them. And please, Mr. Trump, I voted for you 3 times, and all this kind of bootlicking kind of BS. The other thing about that is, like I said in my other video, excuse me, there's a particular relationship, black people and farms in this country, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. The other thing is, do you remember during the Biden-Harris administration their administration worked out a settlement with black farmers to pay them back pay for excluding them from bailout money that they were entitled to. The money only went to white farmers. And so black farmers, that's the way it is in this country, had to sue to get their fair share. And after years of court wrangling in the courts and everything, it was finally settled and black farmers were going to get their due. Sorry, my allergies. And you know why they didn't get their due? Sorry about that. Because white farmers sued to block the government settlement that they had made with black farmers. And white farmers sued saying that the white farmers, were being discriminated against for not getting some of the black settlement money. The black settlement money was because only white farmers got some of the initial bailout money, not black farmers. That's how twisted it is. So to the white farmers online whining about loss of business, threats to having their farms shut down and shut off, I say, fare thee well, good sirs. Fare thee well. You got what you got. You get what you get. You don't pitch a fit. You voted for Donald Trump, and you know what? He is working you over because the big conglomerates, some I hear I've read are owned by J.D. Vance or his companies, are about to buy up your land for pennies on the dollar. And you're going to be one picking those blueberries for $11 an hour, 7 days a week, for 10 hours a day. Literally, how you like them apples?
What's up, everyone? You just heard that, right? You had the panic, the frustration, and the we don't know what to do energy coming out of the farmers in Louisiana. So today we're going to look at a masterpiece in be careful with what you wish for. So we've got farmers in the South panicking. Why? Because the very policies they cheered for, the ones they wore the red hat for, and went to the rallies for, right? Just cleared out their entire workforce. This is the ultimate FAFO moment, you know what I mean, family? They thought there was a plan B, right? They really thought that black jobs were waiting in the wings, right? That when they make just a phone call, we'll be lining up and going back to the 1850s, like how our ancestors did to them, right? Well, spoiler alert, the phone isn't going to ring, right? We are going to work the rest of the mess and break down why this harvest of consequences is exactly what they signed up for.
I always get guys like this that's always just unhappy. They're always just fighting. They're always just, you can do what you want. This is my little space on the internet where I share my thoughts and my feelings. And you always get these people. They're so angry. My question to you, dear sir, why are you so angry? And the funny thing is I actually made a video about you as well last week. You're so angry with my content, but when I put out a video, you're there to comment. You're there to watch. You're like a very good super fan, but you just don't want to admit it. How about you relax there? First of all, this is my content. I make what I want. And second of all, I don't have to justify anything to you, because if I start having to justify myself to you or anyone else, then I'm going to definitely run into offending some people. That's not what my content is about. My content is just about sharing some thoughts, sharing some ideas. And if I'm a racist in your eyes, then my dear sir, then this country is in deep, deep trouble. Because then 99% of people in this country is worse off. But just grow up. Grow up and just, please, just, if I offend you, just block me. But if you really like my content like you do and you comment on every single video, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. I'll just give you a moment of silence. Just so you can calm down and not get so angry.
I'm in my greenhouse planting some vegetables. And I'm thinking about all these farmers that's losing the farms. All them white farmers. Not the black farmers, because we donating to them. You don't hear the black farmers crying the blues, but them white farmers, oh shit, they talking about they losing their farms now because of Trump. But they voted for Trump. But they losing their farms. Right. The black farmers, you don't hear them crying the blues, right? Here's the difference. See, they wasn't dependent on the government. when you depend on the government to take care of you. My daddy told me never depend on the government. Now see, if they cut my little social security check, I ain't gonna say little, but because I can use that piece of coin that I worked for. You understand? I worked 32 years for my monies, for my coins. So it's mine. But I didn't depend on the government in my retired life. You don't depend on the government. No. Anyway, back to the farmers that's losing their farms. I can't even say I feel sorry for you. But this is what I'm going to do. Look here, people. Let me tell you something. Oh, look at here. This is going to be some good eating right here. You understand what I'm saying? Look here. I just grow my own stuff. Look here. That's what I'm doing right there. Yeah. So, I ain't worried about them white farmers losing their farms. I ain't even feeling sorry because they voted for Trump. You get what you asked for. You asked for the tariffs, you got them.
Okay, y'all. So y'all ready? Today's edition of FAFO. Well, you know that I don't know what the man's name is, but he had done infiltrated some groups over there on Twitter, acting like he was a MAGA supporter and all this, and got them white farmers to talking. And basically the white farmers were upset in the group, saying how we thought that the black folks was gonna get out there and work in the fields. I mean, why can't they do it? They don't have jobs. Let me just say, this just shows the amount of intelligence where y'all brain stop at 14%, like Amy on 1,000-Pound Sisters. This shows the amount of cognitive dissonance that y'all have. If y'all really thought that y'all would vote for Cheeto Dust, and it's okay that the immigrants are leaving because the immigrants are taking all of our jobs anyway. So it's okay that they're going to do it. But the black people are going to get out there and do it. Y'all are just dumb. And I don't know what made y'all think that we was going to be out there and doing it. I don't give a damn if the shit rot and fall off here. We paying high prices anyway. That's what I go to work to do, to take care of my family. So I don't care. But the amount of intelligence y'all have and the cognitive dissonance that y'all use to rationalize.
Well, I did it again, damn it. Went down that damn rabbit hole, and it was fun. Because I strolled down this hole of farmers that are mad because they're about to lose their farm. Because that federal grant money hasn't shown up yet. And they don't know what to do. And all of them crying. But damn it, in every freaking video, all of them, and I mean all of them, except for maybe one or two, all of them voted for Trump.
All right, we just saw the whole thing. Let's talk about the black myth, because this is the part that's keeping the internet trolling, and it's really for a good reason. The audacity to think that in 2026 you can just blow a whistle and a whole demographic of people just line up, right? Drop their degree, drop their careers, and drop their tech jobs. I mean, just to go and pick potatoes or tomatoes in your farm, right? It's a very grave thing. And you know what? They are going to do all this just for $11 per hour. Imagine $11 per hour. We spent generations and decades fighting for better education, fighting for job mobility or professional mobility. So for you white farmers to think that we'll drop all of this, yeah, fill the gaps that the immigrants on whom you relied upon, and now we know that they're gone, is such an absurd thought. So let's be simple and real here. You voted for the wall, you voted for deportation, and you voted for strict policies. So you can't be mad You can't kick out the chef, right? And be mad when your dinner isn't ready yet. Many of these white farmers prioritize political identity, right? They want to feel protected by the idea of whiteness and rhetoric over their own economic survival, economic development, economic stability, right? So they thought that they were the exemptions, right? They thought that these policies would hurt those people, the immigrants, while keeping their labor cheap, right? Well, math doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care about your feelings. If you remove the workers from the fields, from the farms, the crops rot, period. And here's the kicker. When the black farmers were losing their land the past 50 years simply because the USDA wouldn't give them loans, to fund their farms, right? Nobody called it a national crisis. They called it the market, right? They called it poor or bad management. Now, because the shoes are on the other feet, and specifically because of the way they voted, we are supposed to be or to feel bad. It suddenly becomes a tragedy. No, this is structural failure coming back home to roost. It's very impossible to feel sympathy for a self-inflicted wound. So at the end of the day, if you want the fruits, you can't deport the roots, right? You can't run a business on an ideology alone. So Louisiana is finding out that America First means that you're first in the line to deal with the consequences of your own choices. Apparently, Plan B isn't coming, right? Plan B is busy building its own future. So let me know in the comments, are you seeing this same FAFO energy in your state? So let's talk about it. This is your dearest Nick, and this is the Nic Report. If you're new to this channel, consider to subscribe, like, and share. Let's meet down there at the comments, and until next time, stay vigilant.